Guys, this is your girl Jeannie Nicole coming to you today with a story time. Okay, yeah, we finna spill the tea, child. This is my daughter, Genesis.
Hi.
Everyone say hello. Don't let me catch y'all saying nothing. Okay, bad in the comments to my child. All right. So Genesis, I brought Genesis on as a guest today because I do think that when you go through a divorce or when you're involved in a narcissistic marriage, we can tend to ignore a lot of signs ourselves, and most times, more times than not, the children catch on to a lot. I recently, if you are new here, let me catch you up real quick. So I left my ex-husband last December, and our divorce was just finalized a few days ago. So I was married to a Christian covert narcissist. I'll go into detail on what that is in another video. But basically, they appear very charming. They appear to be very godly people, but they lack empathy, they lack depth, and they lack the fruit of the Spirit consistently. So that is what I was faced with. I was married for 8 years and went through a lot of emotional turmoil, up and down, in and out, just a lot of stuff. So I left. And once I left, God showed me literally what and who I had been dealing with the whole time. So I thought that it was important to bring my daughter on because, well, number one, somebody asked me about her thoughts. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to bring her on like this. She has her own YouTube channel, you guys. She's pretty brilliant, if I must say so myself. But I was a single parent. The backstory to this story time, okay, is that I was a single parent for 8 years before I met my ex. And I had my daughter at 19 years old. I was in college. All my college friends and cousins helped me with her when I was in school and stuff like that. So she is now 18 and going to college. Would not be having no kids until about 10 years later, okay? But so I just wanted to bring her on so she could share a little bit of insight as to what she saw and how she felt when we were in the situation with her narcissistic ex stepfather and then my narcissistic ex-husband. I try to keep it kind of short because I don't want to have to do too much editing. But her nickname is Pootie, so if you hear me say that, I'm talking to her, okay? All right. Pootie.
Yes.
Okay. So when we first met, which we met on Facebook, okay, in Nashville, and we were surrounded around a lot of people from the church that he went to that were very encouraging to the relationship. They felt like I was potentially an answered prayer for him. Myself, in the meantime, I can't say that I had anybody really advocating for me or hearing from the Spirit of the Lord on my behalf to protect me and speak up, for me and point out red flags that were showing up in him, in his behavior. So what was your take on what happened and how it went down? What do you remember about just the dating process and up until us getting married? How did you feel?
So the dating process was very short. I actually don't even remember.
It was 9 months total, y'all.
Oh, really? I thought it was like 6.
Oh, my heart.
No, I definitely thought it was like 6 months. Yeah, I thought it was very short,
Okay.
and I don't know. I don't even know if I remember that much of it because I still feel like it was a lot of surface level kind of things. And yeah, at that time, I think we were both very vulnerable.
Okay.
I think at that time you were still trying to figure out who you were
I was.
as a woman of God. But at the same time, I mean, I was just a kid that wanted to have a complete family. And so, yeah, it is very easy for someone who is a narcissist to just come in and take advantage of that. And I think that is what made it I don't know, I think that's what made me kind of ignore some of the feelings that I had when it came to the process. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I did not think y'all were gonna get married. I remember thinking, cause to be real, he's not your type.
He was
like
not,
he was
y'all.
not your type at all. And I'm not saying that you have to stay within your type, y'all. Like I've heard of many people that ended up marrying someone who was the opposite of what they usually go for, and it turned out great. That just wasn't the case here, because he wasn't your type in the worst ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Like even when it came to food or health
Ooh,
and
Father
things,
God.
like it just wasn't the same. Especially since growing up with my grandmother, her mom, like my Gma has always been healthy. She's always made sure that we were healthy as kids and as adults. Like she was always taking care of us in that. So having someone who didn't value like their health and their body as much, it was concerning. It was kind of like, it was concerning, but it was also fun as a kid because as a kid, like we never were that family that just had like ice cream and stuff in the house or like all this junk food and everything. Like it just
because that's how my mama raised me. Don't keep no junk in the house. Clean junk in the fire. My mama told us. She said, y'all get fat if you want to. It ain't gonna be on me." Because she was like, literally. She just didn't believe in it. She was into herbs and natural remedies, and my grandmother too. So I didn't realize that he had a food addiction. When I met him, he was into the whining and the dining. I mean, we went out to eat several times a week. And I mean, to a single parent, making, I don't know, $1,700 to maybe $2,200 a month, paying like $700 something. I think at the time for my rent, my car was like, I think $350. That's just a note. Like, I mean, things were really tight. So to me, I thought, oh my gosh, he must really, so cool. He's wooing, he's pursuing,
Yeah. But I feel like later that just kind of became,
it was
like, y'all, I'm going to be rude. Like, if we're being like real, like this, no name dropping at all. But like this guy was ordering like 3 entrees a night. It was crazy. Like this was not okay. And he would still ask for some food off of your plate. And if there's anything you need to know about me, it's not that I hate sharing. It's just that if I see you got a lot of food on your plate, I do not want to share my food. Like I literally, you already have some. So yeah, I just think obviously, like I said, as a kid, that's not something you think much of, but looking back, it's just kind of like, dang, like there was never really a time where the relationship was genuinely healthy. I think it was kind of like, this is like what you think is healthy because you've never actually experienced something like that. But it wasn't healthy at all. And it just, I don't know, it didn't promote any kind of self growth.
He had a food addiction, and a lot of narcissists have addictions. My ex in particularly, and a lot of men that are, and women that are like this, in terms of being a religious narcissist or Christian narcissist, he seemed to be very, almost obsessed with having someone submit to him. He was very obsessed with using the Bible to benefit him only. So those were the things that I grew very frustrated with, is someone who's making rules but never following them, and someone who had a really inflated view and perception of himself, and it just was so far from the truth. And the thing that really drew me in was I thought he was the victim in a lot of his story. Well, in all of his story, he was the victim when I look back. And well, 6 months after being married, boy, things got real.
The flags were there.
Yeah, they were. And I remember, and your body knows before your mind can comprehend. I remember the first or maybe second date we went on. I introduced him to my salon family at the time. We had a grand opening. And I remember him, he was standing there, kind of chilling on the wall or whatever with everybody else. And I remember him tapping me, y'all. He was like, hey, give me something to eat or something to drink or something like that. When I tell you something ran through my body like my core, child, I thought I was going to blow it that day. I thought I was finna tell him off, child. I'm like, what in the, did you just say what I think you said and do what I think you did? Because I had a temper problem. Let me tell y'all that, okay? I had my flaws. I had issues with a temper and popping off, or clicking, as we used to call it back in my day, okay? So I was aware of my flaws, and I tried my best to work on them in the ways that I knew how. So I think that when I responded poorly, I took it pretty hard, but I took it seriously, and I really did want to make changes. And that was part of the reason that I think I stayed around so long, because for so long and so many years, everything was my fault. Like, you went upside my head because I cussed you out. You know what I'm saying? It was my mouth that got us to this situation. Or it was me overspending on credit cards, or, hiding purchases that got us into a financial bind. When really the whole time, he was the one that was terrible with money. I didn't find this out till later on, because again, they always want to present themselves as though they're not doing anything wrong and it's all you. But what happened was I grew out of the behavior, and I really started working on myself, allowing the Lord to minister to my heart and take my faith seriously, and I wanted to please God, honor God, and remain blameless. The best way I knew to do that was be humble, apologize when I was wrong, try my best to protect, my daughter. But, okay, so at what point would you say you started realizing that this was like, we in trouble?
We in trouble? Or I'm in trouble?
Or when did you think? Because she called y'all one time, me and him got into it. She was in the car on the way to church. She started Googling what a sociopath.
Oh, that's not funny. Stop it.
It should be funny.
No.
But oh my God, I remember thinking, we're screwed.
Wow. Okay.
I knew something was wrong then, baby. I'm like, oh my God, he is turning my daughter into somebody that's unforgiving. She's not that way at all. I wasn't even unforgiving like that, but it was.
Oh my gosh.
It was getting so hard
It was.
to forgive him, because he would eat so. Oh y'all, it was no boundaries. We couldn't have any boundaries.
We'll get to that part in a second.
Okay, how did you know he was crazy?
There's like layers. Crazy is crazy. I always say crazy's crazy. There's no you might be crazy, or you're crazy if you're crazy. But there are layers to seeing how someone is crazy. Mm-hmm. And for me, this is where I like to say, like, of course I get all my spiritual gifts from the Lord. But I do think something that we have in common is the fact that we feel a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day that he was going to propose to you. And that was the day I actually was questioning everything. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, this is great. But, like, at the same time, I don't know you like that. No, and for me, as a kid, because, okay, let me, like, I guess set up the scene. Set up the scene for you guys. I was 8 years old at this time, and I think he had been there for like one birthday at this time. I think it was the Divas and Dudes birthday.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was there for like one birthday. I think he knew our family on like a surface level. But then again, I think our family was kind of in the mindset, we were just happy that you found someone that you felt like, was taking care of you. And so, yeah, but like, I remember I was with my uncle and his wife, and we were on our way to a hotel. I think it was Opera Mills or something. Mm-hmm. And we were on our way there. I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, okay, cool. And then I saw some other family members there when we arrived, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, this is exciting. This is a nice hotel and everything. And then I see him come up, and he's just like, what would you think if I were to propose for your mom? He's already dressed up in a suit and everything, and he showed me the ring and stuff. And in the back of my head, even though I'm young at this time, which is why I did not think my feelings were valid, in the back of my head, I was definitely thinking, like, why are you asking me this when you have the ring? Like, I don't know what you want me to say other than yes, because you have the ring right here. Like, I can't just say no whenever I gotta go home and stuff. Like, that would be selfish of me, and I know my mom is happy with you. I feel like I didn't realize how much that moment bothered me, because I felt like you still did not, I feel like he still did not completely respect the fact that there were two of us. Like, we are a package deal. I felt like my opinion was still the last opinion. It's like you told everyone else, because I know he asked the family all together. He did not ask me until the day of.
I literally assumed. I never heard that until you recently.
Yeah,
because I would have been like, what?
He didn't, and like I said, I was young at this time. However, looking back, yeah, I do still think that my voice should have been heard. I think my voice was valid, because in that moment, I felt like that was not very respectful of our relationship and the fact that we have always been together. And so I felt like I should have been asked earlier, basically. Like, I don't think you should have asked me, and you got this big ring right here, and everybody already here. They're all sitting around me, and I'm just like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, don't ask me that in front of everyone on the day that you're going to propose. Because if I were being honest with you, I would have probably said, I mean, no, not really.
I don't know you.
Exactly. Like, I think you definitely should have dated for longer, because I was kind of like, I mean, you're a cool person, I guess. You like playing games and stuff with me. But like,
there was a root to that too, honey.
Yeah, that was manipulation tactics, for sure.
Yes.
And even this situation with the ring and everything, to me, looking back, that was manipulative, because it's just like you're putting a kid on spot on the day, knowing that I don't really have like an option to say no right now. And to me, that's playing with my feelings, because I'm not going to say no because on the day of, because I know I want my mom to be happy. Like, I don't want her to be disappointed. I don't want the family to be disappointed.
I wish she had ruined.
I know. And looking back, I'm just like, man, I wish I had just said no, because none of our family members liked him anyway.
Yep.
So, like...
And they would have been fine.
Exactly. And so I think it was definitely stuff like that. And even on your wedding day, I think that was definitely a big, like, moment where I was like... this is a lot. Like, his family, I just don't think we naturally meshed well. And I know a lot of people are just like, your marriage is worth fighting for and stuff. Like, even if your families don't get along, I don't believe in that mess right there. My family is one of the most important things to me. If we don't get along, I'm sorry. Like, this is not gonna work. And I always felt like his family, like, it felt forced. Like, y'all just got so many issues and drama. Like, we have our issues and drama. But, like, their issues and stuff, I ain't even gonna lie, that was some different... That was built different. Nobody was prepared for that. His dad showed up, like, drunk and late in a minivan. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was very evident that the reason he even invited his family to the wedding was to show them, you know, that he made it. So that is something we were coming to see over time, well, really quickly, was that every decision he made, even though he verbalized and said that it was for us, it really wasn't. He was only looking after his best interests. Yeah, in everything. Like, I had to fight to get her into sports and extracurricular activities. I was pissed off at him for trying to bully my kid out of her food. That's, you know, what led to, like, the first big fight.
I don't even remember that.
And then, even, girl, it's good. And even, like, it was just really disheartening how people at the church handled it. Like, I believe they did the best that they knew how at the time. But even as more details came out about the physical altercation that we had, like, no one ever thought to tell us to, you know, probably report this, you know what I mean, to the authorities, or get him into, like, counseling, like professional counseling. I got tired of sitting around people and their wives, and I just felt like in my heart of hearts they were trying to counsel us from a place of being a loving couple and a godly couple with regular issues. This was not that. And I knew in my heart and my gut and spirit that, and I told him, I said, hey, when we separated the first time, after 6 months of marriage, I said, I believe you have some anger issues that have stemmed from some roots that you have not addressed. I don't know what they are, but you would know what they are. So you're going to have to figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, I can encourage you all day, but it just got to be a lot. I was, you know, leading the family spiritually because he resented me for, I spoke up about, it was a Bible study he wanted when we first got married, but it was so programmed. It was something they did at the church all the time. I'm like, well, I think we passed that point in our salvation, in our walk. Let's look at some other, Bible studies together or whatever. He took such offense to that. And I mean, y'all, for 6 years, held it against me. This man kept me riding raggedy cars that was breaking down on me. I forgot about that. And when I finally bought myself a new car, he got so mad. He held a grudge for like 3 years. This is what they do. I'm not saying this to be nasty or put, all the business out. And I'm still not going to go into every single detail. But these are examples of what they are like at home versus what people see at church. This man was on a leadership team, men's ministry leadership team, was doing all the things, evangelism, up in the pulpit, praying at the church, missions work, everything. But I'm telling you, it's something in you that's going to know that this person is shallow, they're surface, they're not deep, they're not rooted in God. So yeah. So at what point, did you answer, at what point did you know he was crazy?
Did I know he was crazy?
I mean,
at what point did I know he was crazy? That's a good question.
Or like, let me rephrase it.
Not crazy, sorry.
yeah, because it's not. Forgive me. I should rephrase that. At what point or what incidents would you say were kind of? No, I say that. At what point did you feel like he was probably narcissistic, or did you realize he was? I didn't know y'all until I left, physically left.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there were little things that I noticed where it kind of felt like, I don't know, like he had a low-key beef with me. And I was just like, oh, God. What did I do to you? Mm-hmm. Like, I think I told you about this. It was like when I was younger. I think it was the iPad incident.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And when I was younger, we had watched a movie or something. This is so dumb. Let me tell y'all, this is so dumb. We had watched a movie, and it was really late, so I fell asleep. And I remember being really tired. Like, I was just so out of it. I was just like, I don't want to go to sleep. So I was going to bed, and I had this little, like, iPad or tablet, and I would always put on, like, worship music as I would go to sleep. It was very soothing and everything. But for some reason, this night, I was so tired and so out of it. I can't remember my password. Like, until this day, I still don't even remember. I literally...
Sure.
I still don't even remember what the password was. Like, I just remember being super tired, and I was like, man, I'm trying to remember the password. I think you were already headed to bed, so he was taking me to bed, and I'm trying to type in the password, but I was just like, I genuinely do not remember this thing right now. Like, I'm just so tired. It felt like a fever dream. Like, when it kind of feel like you sleepwalking, and you're just like, yeah, that's how it felt. But I just remember him getting so upset for some reason. He was like, Jen, what's the password? And I was just like, what the heck is going on? I was like, I don't even know if I responded. I was just kind of like, I'm so tired. I'm out of it. And he just snatched the iPad from me. And I just like, I don't even know. I don't know how many times he asked me what the password was. But I was just kind of like, it kind of felt like an echo in my head. It didn't even feel like, it took me a second to realize it was real into the morning. And so, yeah, he just snatched the iPad from me because he was mad or something that I didn't tell him what the password was. But I was just like, I don't know what the password is. I'm just trying to go to sleep. And so I just remember falling asleep. And then the next day, apparently he had told her that I was hiding something from him on my iPad, and I was like 9 years old or something. I don't even remember. I know we were living in like the Applegate at that time. And so I was just like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I don't even, I mean, of course, at this time, I'm not going to say that to my mom as she's asked me about it, but I'm just like,
but I already knew you.
I was like, I don't know.
Doing anything, yeah.
And on the way to school, we were talking, and I was very upset. Like, when I got to school, I started crying. Because I was just like, what the heck? Like, I don't, thanks, Mama. Yeah, I was just like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I was just tired, and I felt like instead of coming to me and asking me about it and talking to me about it like an adult, he went to her like a child and just started saying what, I don't even know what he said, like saying whatever.
Yeah. Or I felt like he was trying to accuse her of watching something that you shouldn't watch. That's the gist that I got, because he worked with a lot of men that were addicted to porn And heck, who knows? Maybe he was. Let me not accuse. But but that is an example of what regularly went on. We never knew when it was gonna happen because things looked great, sometimes, and then it's like they could change it abruptly. Like right when we're having fun, it's like he would have an attitude and it throws everybody off. I mean, goodness, we won't hear the end of it. So those are things, and he would do stuff like that really to ultimately draw a wedge between us. He hated how close we are and were. Even my mother stood up and was like, hey, just be careful, not to let anybody come, in between you guys, because y'all are very close and you have a very special relationship. And so, stuff like that. He felt like my mom should be paying us gas money to take her to work. This is how disrespectful these people are. I am telling you, I ain't never seen nothing like it.
One time, oh my gosh, he actually, because this reminds me, this is when Gma was living with us. He wanted her to pay for gas and all of that. Just pay for a bunch of stuff that honestly, if your mom is living with you, you would not make her pay for. But I remember, I don't know what it was. I think it was when it came to doing chores and cleaning the kitchen or something. But it turned into this big thing. And mind you, I never got into arguments with him. Most of the time it was just him yelling at me. And I was just I don't know what you're yelling at. Why are you yelling? You do not need to yell. And apparently it's because he felt disrespected, which that is a word he loves throwing around all the time. So I don't even think you know what disrespect means. I don't even know if you know how to spell it, honestly. Real talk, no, I'm sure they probably don't.
He was fine disrespecting everybody else, but
literally. But yeah, he compared me to my best friend, and he was I'm pretty sure, I'm not gonna say my best friend's name, but I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be doing this right now. And I was just what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? You're that is so dumb. Yeah. And I was just why would you compare me to my best friend? Because to me, that's planting seeds in people and turning people against each other. His anger issues. Yeah, he'd be angry for no reason. He'd be angry for no reason. It'd be you didn't do the dishes right or something.
Ooh, but he would never do the dishes. But he would never do the dishes.
Pizza boxes for days everywhere in the kitchen.
It's
them
what?
Suckers were never in the garbage can for some reason. He would never take them out.
Oh my God, that is true.
There was a dead snake.
I forgot about that.
There was a dead snake in the garage,
that he
put and there. It stunk. Ugh. And it was just why wouldn't you put the garbage can outside? So little stuff like that. It's just you would
expect so much from other people. And he treated the dogs better than us too. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, dog lovers, but.
I like dogs.
We loved our dogs, but it was ridiculous. I mean, I would say over and over, I don't want the dogs sleeping in our bed. That's supposed to be a place of intimacy, and it didn't matter. I couldn't have anything nice because he would just let the dogs, poop, pee in my egg chair, poop and pee in the neighbor's yard. These people are disrespectful, okay? Yeah. So let me tell you something. the believers and Christians, stop encouraging people to stay in this mess. Encouraging another believer to stay in a marriage to a narcissist, okay? You are part of the problem. Yes, you are. We all have discernment, okay? God gifted us with it, and we all have the Holy Spirit. So when people are coming to y'all talking about these little incidents that come up, if you are not equipped to counsel people, please don't counsel them. Send them to a professional. There were 2 therapists that told me that we needed to split and separate. Now, they didn't say divorce. Well, the first one said, y'all need to do a therapeutic separation and start over. He needs some deep healing. You need some, healing. He knew what he was saying, because he knew I was going to see that truth. And so, I leave this at part 1, but woo! I'm telling you, this ain't nothing to play with. So if y'all have any questions for me or Jen, comment below. Let me know if you have had a similar experience with this. I love to hear about it so we can keep each other encouraged. Okay?